Greetings and salutations to Mr. and Mrs. Front Porch and all the ships at sea. Today's topic on the...
Wait a second. What's a salutation?
Greetings and salutations. It's a greeting. I think.
Greeting? So greetings and greetings. It's like saying pizza pie.
It's redundant, but I believe when you got a letter from the draft board back in the day, when you were drafted, it would say greetings and salutations. That's where it comes from.
I got you. Okay, but it's like pizza pie or shrimp scampi. Because pizza in Italian means pie. So if you're ordering a pizza pie, you're ordering a pie or a pizza. If you're ordering shrimp scampi, scampi is shrimp in Italian, so it's either shrimp or scampi.
So what do you when you call for a pizza? What do you gentlemen call it?
The first time when I was in college, I went to a little university known as Stanford. You may have
heard of it.
Out in California.
Was that even a school that required SATs? One of those SAT optional places at the back of the Barron's book. Was that the one?
As I do recall, my freshman year, it was #1 U.S. News and World Report, universities in the country and in the world. So anyway.
As #1 for the easiest to get in? Was that the...
Not exactly. Anyhow.
Weren't you the mascot?
I'm ordering my first pizza at school in California. I called and I said, "Yeah, give me a plain pie." And the guy was like, "Pies? Wait, hold on a second. Do we sell pies?" No, we don't sell pies.
I know a lady that exact same thing happened when she went out to live in L.A. They told her maybe they're just messing with the East Coasters.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, this was back in the early 80s, so you couldn't even get it by the slice. You couldn't order a slice of pizza anywhere. You had to buy the whole thing.
So Tony Manero would have to take 8 slices and pile them together and try to walk at the same time.
Exactly. So greetings, Jonesy.
Greetings to you gentlemen and Mr. and Mrs. Front Porch. Today's topic is TV lawyers. I love old TV detective shows and new ones as well. I watch them all the time. And lawyer shows are a lot of fun. My generation, when I bring up TV lawyers, I've got to first and foremost say Perry Mason. Grew up watching Perry Mason because it was syndicated and it was on every day.
But it doesn't matter. It has the best lawyer theme song of all time.
Yes, it does.
I don't know the lyrics to that one. What are the lyrics?
The lyrics are, "I am the law. I am the law. I am the law. I am the law. I am the law. I'm the law." That's
now. Is he in a wheelchair in that one?
No, that's Ironside.
Ironside.
So, an Ironside's not a lawyer?
Ironside was not a lawyer. Detective. He was a private detective.
Oh, private or public? He was private.
I thought he was a public detective. I'm not sure.
Well, maybe he was a public detective. I'm sorry, but he was. But there was a great Benny Hill where he portrayed Ironsides on a train, and every time the train would start moving, he'd be going backwards, and every time the train would stop, he would be going forwards in his wheelchair.
A similar parody in Get Smart, actually, as well. I guess that was a standard. But I grew up on Perry Mason, and I enjoyed it as a child, and I enjoy it even more now. I have a weird habit of sleeping with either the television or the radio on, which is why Al...
or just up with Perry Mason, because, Raymond Burr was known for that.
Was he really? I didn't realize that. Not that it matters.
Oh, yes.
Not that it matters. But, yeah, that's one of the reasons Al refused to share a bunk with me, because I sleep with TV and radio on, and he needs silence. I sleep every night with the Me channel on, and Perry Mason. I sleep with Perry Mason's theme in my head, hearing his soothing voice, and it's very soothing, actually. Raymond Burr was a radio star as well.
Well, here's the thing with Perry Mason that everyone at home and every law student should know. You should study him as a criminal defense attorney because he actually does cross-examination the right way. He asks nothing but leading questions. Isn't it true? Isn't it true? Isn't it true, Jonesy, that you were walking across the street? Isn't it true that you were wearing a green scarf that day? And then by the time he finishes, they confess to the murder. But the lesson here is we watch a lot of trials on Court TV. My show's on every night from 8 to 10. Monday nights, Al joins me.
And I watch.
A lot of defense attorneys don't do a great job of cross-examination, and a lot of prosecutors do a really bad job of cross-examination. And Perry Mason, there are exceptions to every rule, but generally he controlled the cross-examination. So if you watch Perry Mason when he's questioning a witness, he's really telling a story and he's really testifying. The answer doesn't matter.
The only one better than him, Matlock.
Wow.
Matlock was used in law school. I mean,
Really?
That's how good Matlock is. Matlock is absolutely positively. If you're a young person looking to emanate a lawyer, I mean, the thing about Perry Mason was that it was always kind of like the thing would come at the last minute or whatever. But Matlock was so well done. His questions were that folksy manner that he had and his ability to get into the questions and to relate to a jury. There really was nobody better than Matlock.
It's a real guy. It's a real guy here in Georgia. I think he's passed away.
Is it really?
Yeah, he would give speech. It was based on a real Georgia attorney. And if you look at the opening credits of Matlock, it's the Fulton County Courthouse. So it's based here where I am in the Atlanta metro area. But it was a real, I never got to interview him. But once Court TV moved from New York to Atlanta, people would come in and tell stories about this guy that he was amazing. And he was the real life Matlock. Now,
Portrayed by Andy Griffith.
Right. Now,
which was a thing in the 70s. Like guys who were known for sitcom TV, even though they had dramatic chops, were given 1 hour network shows like Quincy with Jack Klugman and Diagnosis Murder.
Absolutely. Now, the other lesson from Matlock, right? Perry Mason, we've got a great lesson from Matlock. And I think this is for people going into criminal defense, is that you spend a lot of time usually in the same courthouse, right? You're sort of like the guy or the woman to go to in a certain county. But a lot of these people get their reputation just by their physical appearance, right? So, in every courthouse across America right out, there's a bow tie guy, right?
That's right.
There's the lawyer. Now, everybody calls him the bow tie, right? And that's how they get clients, because, someone will see the bow tie in court and they're always looking for a lawyer. And people who are looking for lawyers are usually getting arrested and around the courthouse. And the reputation is, you're the guy with the bow tie,
Because they notice him.
Right. And all of a sudden you build your reputation. So like if Jonesey, this is like perfect. What you're wearing right now for a criminal defense attorney, you would be that guy.
The guy with the white hat.
The guy with the hat and the Carol Channing glasses.
I love Carol Channing glasses. They're fabulous. Hey, I went to a courthouse in Bergen County once. I think it was Bergen County. Maybe Al can correct me on this. And it wasn't a parody. The news magazine stand on the ground floor was operated by a blind man. And I don't know if they give those sort of things to those concessions to handicapped.
Correct. They do. There was actually a program. It's no longer there. Ever since the situation with regards to COVID, they've eliminated all that. But in the old days, the guy who ran the newspaper stand was blind, and he had a newspaper stand, and also he would have a coffee stand, and also have little muffins and that kind of stuff.
So it's like a cruel joke. You got criminals walking in and out all day, picking up a pack of cigarettes or whatever, and you got a guy who can't see if it's a single or a 20.
Well, he was not. He was legally blind. He was not completely blind. So
there is a difference.
So can you be illegally blind?
Yes, absolutely.
I never understood that. And yeah, those guys were great. I remember when I was working at the Bergen County Courthouse, they were there as well. So now television lawyers, as you may know, I'm a big Law and Order guy. Law and Order.
Me too.
Classic, which I think
still watch.
I think Law and Order Classic, they brought it back. They rebooted it this year.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
With Jack McCoy, with probably the best lawyer, which was Jack McCoy.
Right.
This just in, Sam Waterstone will be leaving. The
Again?
Yeah. Yeah, I just read it.
Why? Because he's got so much other work to do?
He was great in a show called Newsroom, which I used to love because of my court TV experience, and he was fabulous in it.
Now, he wasn't the song and dance man from Law and Order. That was
No, that was Jerry Orbach.
Yes, the Fantastics. He was in the Fantastics.
He was the original guy in Chicago. Okay, the lawyer in Chicago, which the late great Cheetah Rivera, okay, who just recently passed away.
Yes,
starred in that original production of Chicago. Jerry Orbach was in that.
Also,
here's the lesson.
Dirty Dancing.
He was also Dirty Dancing. You know, no
Right.
just baby in a corner.
So if there's another lesson from Law and Order, and I think this again for law students and
Broadway.
folks watching at home. No, their opening statements, their closing arguments, especially, are really good. Obviously, they're much shorter than a real closing argument. But what's important about it is that there's a very like a theme to it. It's not rambling. It's focused, and it has a theme, and it's something that a juror could latch on to. Like when you're giving a closing argument, I always felt like you needed to give a few nuggets to the jurors that you would want them repeating your words if they were on your side and there was a split, that they could repeat your arguments. So you give them something that's very easily digestible and something that you remember and resonates. And that's what they do in Law and Order, both the prosecution and the defense in the case, but more so the prosecution. They really, kind of latch onto that. So that's a good lesson, but they're obviously way too short and don't get into the other important part of a closing argument, which is demonstrating to the jury how you proved the elements of the crime, right? Like, the prosecutor has to do that. They generally don't do that in Law and Order, but they do give them ammunition for that jury room.
Well, by
Michael
they only
Moriarty,
got 30 minutes. Because
Michael Moriarty was the first lawyer in Law, and I thought he did a
yes.
And then like something happened. He ended up getting gone, and then they had a series come back, and his son, alleged his son, was now the prosecutor who came in from Chicago, and was the attorney in Manhattan. I thought Moriarty did a very, very nice job. Jack McCoy is actually pretty good.
Jack McCoy's iconic character.
But how about Laurie Partridge when she moved to Los Angeles, a lawyer?
And she was still hot.
I loved LA Law. I mean, that LA Law was a big time show for me.
And I think that was the least like real lawyers out of all. I mean, the other one may be the little less, I guess, lawyery than LA Law would have been Gomez Adams. That would have been about the only extent of it.
How about Night Court? Not
Larroquette. Larroquette was excellent as a prosecutor. I thought he was very funny. I thought that he had that right temperament, and the way he delivered stuff was actually very good. And if we're doing a night court, okay, as anyone who's done night court, which I do almost every night of the week except for Friday, that's the kind of crew you're dealing.
Friday's probably the best night.
I'm sorry?
Friday's probably the best night for night court.
Well, there's no night court on Friday.
You stay on.
Have you ever been in is there a court at the Giants Stadium? Or
yes, there is. In the basement of the stadium, there is a courtroom. I've been down.
Wow.
And have you ever appeared there, or just as a tourist?
No, I've appeared there on a couple of cases with an arrest.
Did they call it the hot in the courtroom?
Well, the Meadowlands Authority has their own prosecutor. So, and in fact, I went to high school with him. So he would be, in charge of that. And so they would and they had a judge. The judge from East Rutherford was also the judge in the basement of the courthouse.
And that's during games.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing.
You're a season ticket holder.
Right. And here's my guess. That court is more busy during Jets games than Giants games.
No, you're wrong, actually.
Really? Because the Jet fans get away.
This is because there's actually more fights during Giants games because the Giant fans have a tendency to be a little more obnoxious than the Jets fans. And they get into fights with the Philadelphia fans, the Dallas fans, okay, like those types of situations, the Washington fans, they get a little bit more animated.
Here's my experience.
Can I pitch you on a show quickly? Let me pitch you on a TV show for Court TV quickly. How about cameras in the courtroom at the stadiums?
That'd be amazing. We should.
Well, the thing is this, that the stuff has changed. Okay, since there's no more bail in New Jersey.
Also, just let it go.
So what ends up happening is you get a summons and then you got to come back. If you get arrested, you're not going to be heard there. They were there primarily to set a bail situation on what would be disorderly persons offenses.
Right.
So
let me get back though to Giants versus Jets, because I used to go to both games when I was in high school back in the 80s. And as I recall, the Giant fans were older. Generation after generation had the tickets, and the crowd, might bring a flask or two to kind of like keep themselves warm during the game, but generally orderly. The Jets games, they would all come in from Long Island, and then those spiral it wasn't a staircase, it was like that ramp that went up, right?
Oh yeah, legendary.
What the Jets fans would do, they would throw money in there.
Yes.
And try to lure kids to go down to the bottom to grab the money. And as soon as the kids ran out there, they would throw sandwiches at them. They would throw bottles at them. And they were all smoking marijuana cigarettes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know where. I've been a Jets season tickets fan since 1972, going back to Shea Stadium. Okay, going back to Yankee Stadium, and then going to the Meadowlands, and then going forward. And I don't remember any of that. But I can tell you this: that
I was there.
But Stanford. The other situation is that the rivalries with regards to football are more distinct with the Giants than they are with the Jets. If the Philadelphia fans come to watch a Jets,
that's the problem. I could see that with the Philly fans.
They don't have a big deal. They don't have a big deal with the Jets. They don't really. They don't have that kind of hatred. A Philly fan with the Giants is just it's a fight waiting to happen.
And the Philly fans are the ones that boo Santa Claus. They throw the snowballs and boo Santa.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
They're pretty intense. So. One last TV lawyer I wanted to mention. Do you remember this guy, Petrocelli?
Of course.
Petrocelli.
Yes. Rico Petrocelli played third base for the Boston Red Sox.
No, this guy, he was an LA lawyer. And I don't think his series was on that long.
I remember Petrocelli. Well, we forgot Saul Goodman.
Oh, Better Call Saul. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a question for the three of us. Who would you want to represent you if you were in trouble?
Okay, well, I'll go first. Give Jonesy just a minute to think. Now, the problem with Matlock is, and this is like in 1980s dollars, right? The retainer is $100,000, right? The retainer was $100,000, so
right.
He's going to be the most expensive to get.
Well, it depends on how much I stole.
And what the charges are.
Yeah, what the charges are.
What are the charges? There's a series of attorneys in Law and Order, and I couldn't name them by name, but they seem like they would be the most appropriate if I got jammed up in New Jersey. I would hire one of those.
Raphael Barber?
But if I was here in Georgia, why would I go anywhere other than Matlock? I'd have to raise some funds, because it would probably cost about, $400,000 now, especially if it was a murder charge.
All right. I will go with, I I gotta go with Matlock also. I think that
In New Jersey, though, if you were jamming,
yeah, I because I think that I think he would do phenomenal in New Jersey. Jersey likes access, and they like that kind of laid back style. Okay, I always thought Gary Spence could do very well in New Jersey. Okay, as a a real criminal defense attorney.
Claims to never have lost a case.
That so does Darnell, but
Lost on appeal.
But well, there you go. But I would think Matlock would be the person that I'd want because I think one, he's very genuine. Two, I think he does a lot of homework on the cases.
right?
Okay, like Saul Goodman. I mean, people would say, well, Saul Goodman, but I mean, like the manufactured crap he does is just so bizarre. I don't think it's going to work, and I don't think it would work in Jersey. I don't think he would come across very well. And so it would be the Matlock or Gomez Adams. Those are the deal.
The thing with Matlock that you point out that's very important, people don't think about how important the investigators are
Yes.
to a defense attorney. And this is overlooked, right? You don't see it in Law and Order because they just cover really the law side. They don't cover how the defense does what they do. But when you're hiring a defense attorney, as important is the defense investigator that you get. And you need a real one, not some gumshoe, but you need like a real defense attorney who knows how to track down evidence, witnesses, and get statements. And that's important.
Okay. All right, Jonesy, it's up to you.
Oh, okay, so I see the courtroom as theater, and I see the lawyers, the good lawyers, as great actors. And I would have to go with, I got two words for you. Denny Crane. Denny Crane from Boston Legal. So charismatic, so cool. If I had to go away, if I had to go to jail, if I lost the case, if I lost money, whatever, I'd have a great time just hanging out with Denny Crane.
That's great. Well, interesting. Hopefully none of us get arrested.
Well, clock on the wall says we're out of here. So thanks for joining us, and say goodnight, Al.
Good night and good law.